Neelsie got into my brain and he pretty much damaged the whole, or a big part of the left side of my brain that I was using for my work. So he basically wiped out my whole CV. People find it difficult to refer to a worm in your brain, so I called him Neelsie. I met my husband when I was doing my internship at Stellenbosch, and I did the Masters in Research Psychology. So I started doing research analysis, and I enjoyed that very much. We bought a house, a small house first. Andrea was born. We had a good life. 5 years ago, I was putting the kids to bed, and the next thing I knew, I was in hospital. I was very disorientated. I didn't know. I asked my daughter, 8-year-old daughter, how old she is, and she started crying. And I went for, amongst others, a MR scan, and then they found a worm on my brain. It basically wiped out a lot of my memory. I get very frustrated when I forget things. A while ago I was kicked out of lift club because I forgot the children at school. So, yeah, but we just laughed afterwards and so. I was invited to a social, and I was talking to this one girl that I know her. And I said eventually, I know you, but where do we know each other from? And she said, Santie, we stayed together at varsity for 3 years in the same house. In the past, I used to get excited when I see numbers. Now it was just as if I'm opening a car's engine and trying to fix that. I didn't know anything. I struggled to work out a 10% tip. So it really went up to the level that I had to learn how to do plus and minus and things like that. I had to become dependent on my husband's salary, which was quite a bit of an adjustment. Not only financially, but also emotionally, to know that you have to ask someone for money that you used to earn on your own. While I was at home, I started to paint. I started to write things down. I realized that the creative side of me was waking up. There was a competition in the Finesse magazine once about writing a story about your own life, but writing it in terms of a fairy tale. And so I wrote my story, and I won the competition to my own surprise. Yeah, and from there on, last year I published the first children's book. We're working on 2 other books at the moment. So yeah, I'm quite a long way from where I first started. My advice to young people would be to imagine. I know it's difficult because you think nothing's going to happen to you. Think about the consequences of what your financial situation is going to be. If Neelsie didn't happen, I wouldn't have written any books. I wouldn't have had time to spend with my kids all day. I think it was supposed to be like that. It's frustrating, but it was supposed to be like that.